What's going on, boys and girls, and welcome back to Nth-Level Entertainment, the premier geek culture and car culture YouTube channel of South Africa. I am your host, Zweletu Mahlo.
They're making a big mistake.
This here is Mr. Thurgood Marshall. Man is an attorney. You will treat him with the respect that he deserves.
And today we're going to be doing a tribute review for Marshall, starring Chadwick Boseman. Now, Marshall is going to be, I think, the fourth film that I'm doing in this Chadwick Boseman Tribute series. And this is basically a film about Thurgood Marshall. He was the first African American to ever become a Supreme Court Justice in America. The film basically follows one of his earliest cases in his career. Thurgood Marshall, played by Chadwick Boseman, was alongside a Jewish attorney called Sam Friedman, played by Josh Gad. And Josh Gad played the character beautifully. He seemed a little bit sort of clumsy and awkward in the beginning, and what I thought of that, it was a bit of a critique before I actually saw the rest of the film, because it gave me the impression that, because Josh Gad is in the film, they are now going to look to make his character that, comedic sort of like comic relief in the story, a story that doesn't actually need that, until I realized later on that the film is a character piece. It's based on Thurgood Marshall's life, but the actual character it was focusing on in this particular film, I think, was Sam Friedman, because he actually went through a lot of character development in the film. The comedic clumsy elements that he was exhibiting early on in the film, I think I came to understand that they were just simply an illustration of the character development that he went through, sort of like a hero's journey kind of thing, because he kept on emphasizing the fact that it was his first criminal case. When they were doing the investigation of the crime scene, him and Thurgood Marshall, he had to step into a bit of a swamp, and he was complaining about his shoes, them being like the best shoes that he owns and things like that. So as the story progresses, we actually see a lot of the pressure and discrimination that Sam Friedman ended up going through, because this story was taking place during like America's most racist kind of times, Jim Crow America, as they like to call it. And a lot of white people were showing a lot of discrimination and racism towards Sam Friedman himself, because they viewed him to be a black sympathizer in this situation. And even in the courtroom itself, the judge, I forget the judge's name, but he insisted that Thurgood Marshall was not allowed to actually speak in the trial itself, in defending the Sterling K. Brown's character. I forget the character's name, but the trial itself was also one that was steeped in a lot of racism, because he was actually accused of raping a white woman who was also his employer. She was a bit of a socialite, and so what actually happened was that they had an affair, because she felt dissatisfied in her marriage, and she was afraid as to what society would think of her if it came out, what her husband would do, and so on and so forth. So she decided to cry rape instead. And of course, the social climate being what it was easy to believe that he did that, being a black man who was in that kind of a position as her employee. So the film was actually, it was charged with a lot of those themes of overcoming adversity, doing the right thing while overcoming adversity in this case being the racism itself, and Thurgood Marshall still wanting to do the right thing, regardless of the obstacle itself. So it was a great film. The white lady who was the complainant in this instance was played by Kate Hudson. She played her role very well. She looked like someone who was sort of nervously trying to keep up their status in society, whilst trying to hide away this dirty secret and blame the black guy for the crime and all that. She played that character very well. You could see her break down towards the end of the trial, as the truth was starting to come out, as she was no longer able to maintain her lie. We could see her sort of like psychologically unravel in that way, and the truth finally coming out, and then actually winning the case. So it was a great film. the way it ended, it was the kind of cliffhanger that suggested that they actually wanted to make this some sort of a series or maybe a sequel, you know, because as we all know, eventually Thurgood Marshall became a Supreme Court justice. So this film took place early in his career. So it's almost as though they were hinting at the fact that they were going to follow more of his cases that led up to him actually becoming Supreme Court justice. Maybe Netflix could do something about that, maybe release a series, even if it doesn't star Chadwick Boseman himself, you know, that whole discrepancy between film and television. Have another actor play him in, like, you know, a serialized version of all the court cases that led up to him becoming Supreme Court justice. It would be very interesting, you know. Very similar to what Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo did back in the day, you know, before the whole Robben Island thing. Before they became black heroes in Africa, they also had a law firm that they were running during apartheid South Africa, where they were actually helping individuals who had suffered, you know, racially motivated instances where they were either, you know, falsely accused for a crime, or they were just being battered and brutalized by police, and their law firm was basically handling cases like that. So, but in any case, I digress. It was a great film. If you're into those kind of, you know, law courtroom dramas and things like that, and with a bit of you know, some revolution in there, you know, because there was a lot of racism involved in the film as well. So if you're into those kind of period pieces, biopics, I would definitely recommend it. Chadwick Boseman knocks it out the park once again playing an iconic black hero, you know, in our history. So yeah, it looks like he was born to play these kind of roles. I say this in every video. But that will conclude my review for Marshall. Please let me know what you thought of this video and the review itself, or the movie if you've seen it, down in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please click on the thumbs up icon, leave us a like. And if you'd like to see more from Nth-Level Entertainment, please click subscribe and be sure to click on that bell icon so you are notified each and every time I drop new content on this here channel. I have been Zwelethwa Mahlangu, and thank you very much for hanging out with me. As usual, people, stay awesome, take care of each other, stay chasing your dreams. Wakanda forever.